A couple months ago, I made a video explaining why I thought Bitcoin was going to reach $173,000 by the end of this bull market cycle. And between making that video and where we are right now, I believe a lot has changed. So much so that I have a new revised target. And no, I don't think $173,000 is going to be marking the top of this bull market. But before I get into price predictions and where I think things are going to go, what's up? My name is Dishner from the Better Traders, and you are watching Coin Bureau Trading. If you have not subscribed yet, oh man, hit that subscribe button because Dan is dropping incredible content. Gabby is live streaming 2 or 3 times a week. I'm posting videos as well. There's a ton of content, a ton of alpha that's being shared here. So we're going to get right into it today. Now, for all of you that are thinking about this incredible possible news story about Bitcoin's big announcement coming up from the White House this Tuesday, honestly, I think we're in for a hook-style nothing burger where it's nothing. So where do I think Bitcoin is actually going to be going by the end of this cycle? Well, first, let me explain why I thought $173,000 would be the top target. We're going to start all the way back over here in the 2018 market cycle. One thing to note as well as I do this, you have to understand that all-time high to all-time high measurements have been drastically lower ever since we really started to get going with BTC. This is super normal too. As an asset matures, we're not going to see it pull the same multiple percentiles. Right now, if we're talking about the all-time high, about 69K, Bitcoin is only up about 64% for the previous all-time high. If it goes up to 173 or so, it's roughly 150%. Notice how drastic the decrease is. 8,000%, 1,600%, 200%, 148%. So you were thinking I was going to say up here, right? So I want to go back over here first to explain why the fibs, okay? Now, I like Fibonacci levels. I especially like the extensions because they give us a great target. Now, for starters, I need to reset this one. So it's that one. Cool. So we can see that the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level was basically spot on. Even though the price of Bitcoin did exceed $61,000, that was the top. We can see the 1272 at 32K being really good support. So much so that we can see it acting as good resistance here. We can see the 1618 acting as good support, and now the price is moving up higher. If we look at the 2014 fibs, we know this, and especially if you've watched my videos, you know that we obviously went way above the 1618 in the 2017 parabola. We actually went up here to 272, it fell back down, found support. You know the deal, it danced, it had a great time, called all its friends, went to the bear market, found the perfect bottom entry right here, right at the 272, finds resistance at the 2618, then it keeps going up higher, which is why I'm leaving these fibs on, and notice that $117,000 is a fairly difficult level. So are you thinking 237 is your target, Aaron? Is that what you're saying? Are you're getting that excited about it? Or maybe you're thinking, okay, well, no, like he's going to use the extensions just like 2018, and things are just going to be going like insane. So we're going 204, 386. We're going to go up to $780,000. The reality is that we've seen diminishing returns over the years. Yeah, you saw where that's going, didn't you? No, we're not looking at those. We're looking at these guys. So the 1.618 was a reasonable target for me initially, because I thought, okay, if we're going to do a repeat of the 2017 bull cycle, 2017 to 2021, I was thinking, oh, okay, that's going to be the same thing, 2022 to 2025, and I still believe that we're going to be topping out in about 8 weeks. It's getting increasingly more difficult to foresee or to believe Bitcoin to all of a sudden shoot up 50%. It's not unreasonable because we saw a lot of hype when we had the spot ETF announcement. Bitcoin did move up about 50% in basically 3-4 weeks. So we could see another move like that. But to be honest, this is really, really boring, really bad price action. Some people out there think that we're going to be in a super cycle. Some people think that this announcement from the United States is going to put Bitcoin at $1 million tomorrow. That's fine. If it does, cool. Like, that's great. But when I'm looking at this asset as it's matured over time, you can clearly see that it is not growing anywhere near as much from the drop to the top. So even if we were to say this is the top right here, knowing that we have diminishing returns, that's pretty logical. So could it go up to 173? Sure, it could. Do I think it's going to exceed that? No. Why? Well, let's not talk about price. Let's just look at a couple of other factors. For one, we need to talk about volume. Now, I'll be fair, and we're going to be on the index, which is what I believe this is. Oh, sorry. Now we're on the index, okay? So the reason why I'm here on the index is because I want to show you something that's really important. Volume represents votes. Think of it that way. Whenever we see volume wildly exceeding our expectations, typically that's when this gray bar right here is exceeding the yellow line. When it's wildly outperforming it, that will force this yellow moving average to go up higher and higher. So we've seen this happen multiple times. Back over here in 2017, we can see volume just absolutely just destroying this moving average, just going up higher and higher till we finally top out, and then that's that. We can go back over here to 2020. Volume is wildly outperforming, and then that's that. The next time we have something like this happens a lot sooner than usual, 2023 in October, and we finally get a huge move here in March, and that's that. And then another one here in November, and that's that. This has been the most confusing bull market because it's been interrupted twice. We had the Bitcoin spot ETF, which interrupted the flow. We had the Trump pump, the election pump, which interrupted the flow. And volume right now is actually not on an uptrend. If anything, volume continues to head lower and lower. I have not seen volume look this bearish in quite a while. And we're on the weekly time frame, and I'm being fair with the index. I don't know where this is pulling in price action from, but if we were to use even Binance, and this is going to be distorted because they used to inflate their volume, which is very clear to see here after they said, whoops, sorry, we won't do that anymore. Then it dropped dramatically. But even here, just focusing on recent volume, there's really no interest right now in BTC. Could this new catalyst bring in the volume that we're waiting for? Maybe. But you say in your mind, wait, but isn't Michael Saylor like buying tens of thousands of Bitcoin? Isn't El Salvador buying lots of Bitcoin? Aren't all these governments going to be buying Bitcoin to put on their Bitcoin strategic reserves? Sure. But have those really moved the needle like everyone thought? Everyone was looking at the Bitcoin spot ETF as the saving grace for Bitcoin. Everyone thought back over here, well, companies are going to be putting Bitcoin on the balance sheets, which they have. And having a Bitcoin spot ETF will be good for the market, which in some ways it has because it has onboarded a lot of people. But has it really positively affected the price like everyone was expecting? No. The big things that really help propel the price for crypto, no surprise, are really good news. Well, people thought it was good news, and then the market tanked because of tariff fears, and here we are again. But you have to understand that in terms of volume, the votes are out. No one's really excited about Bitcoin up here. And let me say it differently. No one is really looking to buy more Bitcoin at $114,000, save for Michael Saylor. So where do I think a reasonable top target is? Well, I can tell you now that I do not believe that we're going to see Bitcoin up to $173,000. If we get anything close to some bullish moves to the upside, 150K would probably be a reasonable top target. And this breaks a lot of things. For one, we don't have this fib level. It's not a top target. But again, I'm looking at price action being extremely weak. I'm personally looking at when I think the market is going to be topping out, which is essentially over here. I have to go to the daily time frame to see this a little bit better and hide some stuff. So that way it's a little bit more legible. But essentially, this is what we got. We have, in my opinion, well, now things have changed since I've shared this. So we're looking at about 54 days until I think Bitcoin will top out in mid-November. And then alts top out here, and then the bear market begins after that. Why do I think that? Well, I'll tell you in a second, because before we get there, there's a lot of volatility in the market. We know that this is also great for trading. Whether it might not feel good for trading, the volatility is really the lifeblood of every single trader. And Coin Bureau has negotiated some fantastic deals on your behalf for Femex, for BYDFi, and for 2Bit. 2Bit is unique because it is a non-KYC requiring exchange. BYDFi is a new exchange partner that Coin Bureau has talked to and negotiated a crazy deal of up to $10,100 in rewards. Femex, there's a new deal coming out. You're going to be excited about that one. And there are way more deals available on the Coin Bureau website, whether it's an exchange service, whether it's a tool like a wallet, or even the Coin Bureau Club. Plus, there is a 10% discount off our course, 50 Minutes to Financial Freedom, through the Better Traders. So why do I think the market's going to be doing this? It's honestly a lot simpler than most people realize. And I need to go to this chart, I believe, because this is going to be the easiest way to visualize it. So for starters, I know it might seem rudimentary. It might seem just too easy to say it, but I did make a video and it's worked really well so far. The idea of this is simple. Bitcoin is still obeying and adhering to a 4-year cycle. A lot of you feel like it's broken. Agree to disagree. Here's why. Because we have a top-bottom recovery rally back here in 2013. This did not take a year, right? But we have a very clear top that takes place and takes shape here in 2014. From 2014 on, this is when Bitcoin really starts to mature as an asset class. So that's why I start from here. What we can do is we can plot the first week of every single year from 2014 on, and it does a pretty good job of telling us what that year should look like. So where it says top here, this is calling the top, which happened before. So that means that this year, 2014, was a bottom year. This year, 2016, was a recovery year, which is exactly what happened to the price of Bitcoin. This rally year right here, Bitcoin definitely rallied up 139%. And then the top year is where we see our explosive blow off top. Fast forward to 2017. So we get our top in 2017. That means 2018 is a bottoming year, which definitely worked out. We have a recovery year, which is very true. We had an interruption with COVID, but we did get our rally. And then finally, we have our top. Even though it only moved up about 76% or so, eventually we hit our top in November, and then we started our bottom year, which is exactly how it played out. Then we saw from January, the first week, there was a huge burst of price action, 22%. That started our recovery year. And then we saw the recovery continue for another year, for a rally year, and now here we are in our top year. It has been a very underwhelming top year for Bitcoin. Since the beginning of the year, it's only up 13% or so. Now, the reason why I think we're going to be going into a bear market year is because it's followed this pattern exceptionally well since 2014, so for 11 years. What could break this? Well, a couple things could. America actually just ditching the gold reserve and going to go to a pure Bitcoin reserve. Nation states buying Bitcoin on spot exchanges, that would push the price up. But buying on OTC markets, even saying that we're going to do this, we know that legislation and all those political discussion and back and forth, there are going to be people that disagree. Things will not happen like that at all. So the reason why I think we're going to be going into a bottom year, even though I ultimately believe Bitcoin will be going higher, is because this has worked out really well for the last 11 years. Why would it not work well now? And again, looking at price action, I know some people out there are just mega bullish, and they think Bitcoin's going to go up to $500,000. It's programmed to go to $1 million, bro. Eventually, but this year, nah, I don't think so. So how am I trading this? Well, right now, I'm basically choosing to start scaling out. And the reason for that is simple, because for me, I bought the majority of my BTC back over here in June 2022. So again, I'm sitting really pretty on my position. I'm happy. I'm satisfied with my profit. So I don't necessarily want to start selling now. It always feels wrong to sell now. But I do think that Bitcoin will have one last rally. Like I said before, I think that we will see up, and we have to go to the other chart now. I think we will see Bitcoin go up a little bit higher, topping out in mid-November, and then alts will have a quick leg up. I don't even know if it'll last a whole month, and then that's it. The reason why I also think this is going to happen is because the price action, the volume for Bitcoin has been really poor. And another reason why as well is that RSI has been flashing some pretty bearish signals for quite some time. Now we need to move to a different time frame, to the monthly, because if you guys have been watching my videos, you know that the monthly time frame has actually been really reliable in helping us to time bull market tops. Now, initially, we saw some crazy overheated levels, 99.65, 98.97, 98.33, what do we have, 97.76, cool. So The main thing here, though, you have to understand about RSI is that we will most likely never, ever exceed 95. We saw back over here, 2021 March, 96.87, and we can see a high here in March, which is weird, 2024. Again, we know Bitcoin has gone up higher since then, but it would seem like, well, that's our top, and we've seen a couple of other false tops here, November, and more recently in July. But the main thing that's very clear to see is that monthly RSI continues to show weakness, which is never good. The other thing that I'm concerned about as well is seeing monthly RSI have a really bad streak, or basically breaking the streak. We haven't seen that yet, but man, oh man, is it getting close. This is also why I believe that we're going to see a bear market come upon us in a couple of months. Because once we see monthly RSI get down to about 53, 54 or so, that's going to be kind of scary. And we'll probably see it continue to fall. And that's basically when we're in our bear market. So where's a bear market low area? Well, clearly it's down here. And this is a good area to look for in terms of like identifying a bottom, 34.48 down here to like 30 in terms of monthly RSI. Even on the weekly chart, if we go to the weekly, we can clearly see that weekly RSI has told us several times as well where things were getting really, really hot for BTC, 98.04 in December, and we saw Bitcoin climb up a lot higher. But look what happened after that. Just falling off. There we go, done. Now, we've seen it get very hot multiple times, 93.56, 93.58, so we actually have a higher high. But in November, we didn't see it get that much higher. Over here in July, didn't see it get that much higher. I'm getting a little bit concerned seeing a lack of strength with Bitcoin knowingly at some crazy high levels, like $114,000. The fact that it's above $100,000 is amazing. It still is to me, just thinking about how far along this has come in price. Could the catalyst for Tuesday really be the thing that we need, the dynamite to really ignite Bitcoin to go up higher? It could, but you have to admit that those are some pretty bearish signs that I'm at least showing to you. I'm not trying to distort the information either. So where could it go? I've actually already made a video that talks about that, how low I think Bitcoin could go in the next bear market. And I do think that we will have a bear market next year. And the reason why I'm making these videos is not for the fear factor. It's not to freak people out or to like get all the clicks and the views. It's literally to help you guys preserve the profits, if you have some, the profits that you made in this bull market. Now, you have to understand, I could be wrong. But if I'm not wrong, and we do pivot into a bear market that lasts for a year, a lot of alts have not done very well the last 2 years. If those fall even further, it will absolutely destroy the space. It will destroy it so bad. People will hate crypto. Even if legislation is passed for like a Bitcoin strategic reserve, you guys have to understand that a lot of the symbols, a lot of the signs are flashing warning, watch out. You have to do what you're going to do. Protect your portfolio at all costs. Again, this is one of the rules that's in the Better Traders Journal. So that's the approach that I'm taking with this. So how low could it go? I want you to watch this video. Until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.